Hi, Gemini, and all of you with strong Gemini placements. My name is Alyssa, and welcome to Eclectic Duality. Hi, Geminis. This is going to be a reading for the sign of Gemini for the month of May. But as usual, keep in mind that energy is fluid, time is an illusion, roles can be reversed, and this may not be your story. And that's okay. There's so many amazing readers out there. One of them will resonate with you. And you have the power in your life, Gemini. So if you don't like the story that you hear in this reading, change the outcome. It is that simple. You have the power. All right, Geminis, let's get right into it. So when I tapped into your guys' energy for the month of May, I immediately felt lots of communication, and not just lots of communication, lots of positive communication. For some of you, that's going to be essentially there was something you guys were waiting for, a message you were waiting for. You were waiting for someone to contact you, and it was really, really hard to stay patient in the month of April. And that message finally came in. And not only is it coming in, but I basically see communication taking off from there. It's almost like if you were waiting for someone romantically to come your way, they send that message, and then the communication just takes off from there, which is, I think, exceeds the expectation you might have had for this person at this point. You might have started to give up hope on them. And for some of you, it's not romantic at all. It's about, family members or friends that you felt isolated from, people that you really want to be able to connect with, and they've had their own things that they've been, concerned with, or their own things that they've been worried about. I mean, right now there's a pandemic and there's quarantines and lots of people are isolated, so it makes sense that people would be pretty focused on their own stability and safety at this time. So I could see that being a little difficult for you, Gemini, because being a Gemini, you thrive on communication in some form. And obviously, we all have many different planetary aspects that affect us and other signs that affect us based on where they fall in our chart. So, where some Geminis, that's about face to face communication. Some Geminis, it's about phone communication and texting and social media. And for others, it's simply feeling that connection with somebody, even if it's with brief conversation. Okay, so a lot of Geminis simply feel like that communication was lacking in April, but in May it's coming back and it'll be everything you wanted it to be. On top of that, I got this giddy feeling, like that butterflies feeling that I first started channeling when I did, last, well, it was for April, but April's reading for Gemini. I got this kind of delicious, yummy, giddy butterfly energy, and I really feel that again for May. So either this is going to be a continuation of what started in April that caused that excitement, or this is something that's coming in May. So for some of you, that might have been delayed, is what I actually hear. And a lot of that could have to do with the isolation, a lot of emotional blockages, mental blockages, blockages in finances, because a lot of people are struggling. But either way, let's get into the cards, Gemini. Ooh. Okay, so I get a couple different stories of this Gemini. Um, for some of you, someone did you wrong. Someone did you dirty. Okay, and this could have just happened at the end of April, or this could be something that happens in May. But someone does you dirty, and you quickly end all pretty much end everything with them. It could be a partner, could be a friend, could be a family member, could be a coworker, boss, job. If you felt like your job did you wrong, there's something here where you feel like someone took advantage of you, stole from you. Um, it could even be took your energy, took your time, took your trust, something, and you basically go, okay, I'm no longer extending my cup to you, period. This is definitely a shut down. This is a ghosting scenario, something that you just drop. and you basically say, okay, no, I'm not giving you another chance, we're done. Wow, that's crazy. But with that Wheel of Fortune and the moon and the devil, right after that, I actually get that it's actually good that you're ending this, because this was actually, this cycle, it seemed like it was positive, this connection, this career, this cycle that you were in, it at first seemed to be positive with that moon card, but the moon is about illusions. Okay, so honestly, with the devil right next to it, I get that this wasn't the thing that you thought it was. This wasn't the person you thought they were. This wasn't the job you thought it was, the environment, the connection, whatever, and that's going to become really clear to you. And as soon as you realize, you're cutting ties and walking away, which, Gemini, is honestly the best thing you can do. Cut toxic ties. Now, my only advice to you is, if someone does you wrong, the worst thing you can do is lash out at them. And by that I mean try to get revenge, okay? It is okay to say, "Hey, what you did was wrong." It's even okay for you to get really angry because they took advantage of you in some fashion. But avoid revenge, because that's giving them more energy, okay? And that's not cutting the tie. That's almost strengthening the tie. It's just a toxic tie. So cut everything off. Cut off communication. Block them. Walk away. Do whatever you have to do. It's okay, Gemini. You're doing the best for you. Okay? For another group of you, I see that you guys might take advantage of an emotional opportunity or a romantic opportunity. Okay? But this is cautioning you to be, well, approach with caution is what I'm hearing. I'm seeing not necessarily a stop sign, but I'm definitely seeing a caution sign. Don't, be careful not to take too much too soon in this connection, or be careful not to put all of your eggs in one basket. Okay? Not everything is as it appears right now. If someone comes in who appears very yummy, delicious, incredible, you have that butterfly feeling, they could absolutely be wonderful. But what I'm saying is that there's something you don't see, something in the situation you aren't aware of. So be careful not to jump in with both feet. Maybe put a toe into the water, test out the temperature, and kind of see where it goes from there. And as things kind of unfold, for some of you, this could be a make or break thing where you look at the thing that comes out and go, yeah, I can't deal with that. I'm sorry. Goodbye. And for some of you, you're like, I can work with that. Okay, I can work with that. Let's do it this one step at a time. But if you jump in with both feet, I see you guys being blindsided quite a bit. So definitely caution is needed here, Gemini. Yeah, with that Eight of Cups coming out again, the Queen of Pentacles, Four of Cups in reverse, and the Nine of Swords. Okay, so a lot of you are walking away from something that you saw as a curse, something that caused you a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. You might have had sleepless nights. And something that really affected your balance, your stability. And so you're walking away in order to find your stability, your balance. Like I said, for some of you, that's a romantic partner. For some of you, that's a friend. For some of you, that's a toxic coworker or a boss or a workplace. Or it really could be anything. It could be you're going, okay, this city that I live in is toxic. It's awful. The crime rate is this, whatever. And then you go, okay, it's time to leave because it no longer serves my highest good. So it could be anything on that range, but this is so positive, Gemini. This is so positive because you're cutting away what doesn't serve you. All right, Gemini, so I'm doing something a little bit different with the format for my monthly zodiac reads. I felt like the general message was good, for each sign, but I felt like we weren't getting into the nitty gritty and really talking about some of the major areas of your life specifically and breaking that down. So I'm going to try something a little bit different. Definitely let me know in the comments if you guys like this new format. But first, we're going to get specific messages for your career career or financial stability or just stability in general, okay? A lot of you are feeling overburdened in terms of your career situation. Okay. For some of you, you feel like you're being worked to death. You feel like the workload is too heavy. You know, you just want it to end and you feel miserable. You feel miserable. Even if this is a job that you loved before, you know, and it would make sense if you're one of the essential workers, it's possible that you're getting overworked to the max because you're one of the few places that can stay open or one of the few places that can actually bring in any kind of customer base. So you might be feeling, you know, like you're basically just you're just trying to take it one day at a time, but it's really weighing on you. And you feel, you know, with this Chariot next to the Ten of Wands, I kind of just feel like you are chained to the back of this Chariot and you're just forced to walk along with all these wands. I feel like you're forced to move forward. That's how you feel. For a whole nother group of you, it's the opposite. You guys are out of work or there's a lack of work, and that really has you feeling really down. You want to work, you want to bring in stability, you want to move forward, but you can't, and that causes a lot of burden. Okay, that causes a lot of burden, a lot of stress, you know, and you just want this time to end, this instability to end. So regardless of whether you're working or not, you're feeling, you guys are definitely feeling stressed and anxious in your career is what I'm seeing. And if you don't have a career either way, if you're a stay-at-home parent or you have your own, you know, personal side gig or whatever, I basically, I still see that kind of anxious feeling of things are just not quite right, things are not balanced in the home. I, you know, and basically just that anxiety. But either way, let's get a couple more cards just to see how this is going to play out. I don't want to leave it like that for the message for the career. Okay, so this is about patience, Gemini. Okay. The work you're doing right now, whether you're, you know, an essential worker and you're actually at a job right now, or you're at home doing everything you can to try to get work or try to keep things stable, think of it like this. You planted the seeds, they're not going to grow overnight. Okay? Now you could stand there and fret with your shovel, watching them grow, you know, at an excruciatingly slow rate, or you could plant the seeds and walk away and plant more seeds, and then walk away and plant more seeds, and then throw some water on all those seeds, and then go and get a glass of lemonade, and then, you know, go make some masks, you know, and then go play some video games or read a book or, you know, get out some fertilizer, then fertilize all those seeds, and then maybe you plant some more seeds in another plot. You know, keep yourself busy, okay? Keep planting those seeds. They will grow. It will take time, but all of the work you put in will be abundant, okay? It just might be stressful in the month of May, but I do see this turning into something really wonderful down the road, okay? This will be plentiful. You will bounce back. All right, Gemini. So now I want to get some cards to kind of represent the connections that you're going to have with your family, friends, coworkers, bosses, you know, all your platonic relationships. So not romantic, okay? How are you going to jive with other people in the month of May? Lots of communication. Exactly what I said before. lots of communication, and it's going to be really good, stable communication. And I get with this King of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles right next to it, that there's going to be a lot of work that you're going to be doing with other people. You guys are really going to be building something together. For some of you, that's going to be actually building a business, building a project, and for some of you, it's about building the connection, really getting to know each other, because with this Judgment in reverse, I get that this is majority new people. Okay? So you might have people from your past who come back in to communicate, but for the most part, I'm getting it's not people that you've known for years. Okay? So when I say new, think of people that you've met this year, or people that you met in the last 6 months, or even the last year period. We'll just call that new people. This is generally not people you've known 10 years or since you were a child or known 5 years. So this is definitely new connections that you're really going to be building, and that are going to be highlighted in the month of May. And like I said, very positive communications. This Queen of Swords in reverse, next to that Judgment in reverse, I feel so immediately when I saw it, I was like, oh, is there going to be some cutting words in the month of May towards in some of these conversations? Is there going to be some lies, in these conversations? But I actually think that this Queen of Swords in reverse is referring to that Judgment in reverse. So, like I said, I think that's the energy of you cutting away, people from the past, and specifically people who lied to you, people who you realize you couldn't trust, toxic connections, which really goes with that general message I got of you cutting away, cycles, people, connections, jobs that were toxic to you and were not helping you find your own personal fulfillment. So this is actually a really beautiful month. Obviously, so far we see a lot of stress in, stability, finances, career. But I think that's pretty much everybody across the board for the most part. So, all right, Gemini. So now we're going to get some romance messages for you. Let's talk about Gemini in love for the month of May. What can you expect on the romantic front in the month of May? Okay, Gemini. So one thing that's really, really, really important when it comes to romance in general with somebody else is, this sounds so funny, but in order to have a healthy romance with somebody else, you have to first have a healthy romance with yourself. Okay? With this codependency and the free yourself right next to it with the past life relationship, it I feel that a lot of your relationships in the past, either you were very codependent upon your partner emotionally, mentally, whatever, spiritually, or your partners were very codependent upon you in an emotional, mental, or spiritual capacity. Okay? So in your relationships, instead of there being an equal give and take and an equal partnership, it was almost like one person was taking care of the other one. Okay? And in an adult relationship, that doesn't really work for long, because then you end up with one party that's just taking, forever, basically just taking, and the other person's getting really drained, and they're not able to give back to themselves, because they basically now have an empty cup that they poured out for somebody else. Okay? And when that starts to happen, things start suffering, things start falling to the wayside. The person with the empty cup starts to become very unhappy, very unstable, and then that relationship just kind of starts to fall apart. So what I'm seeing is that, like I said, I see new communication, new people coming into your life in the month of May, or new-ish people who will be communicating with you in the month of May. And I saw, someone coming in, someone romantically for a lot of you. But if you want this to be better than the relationships you had in the past, if you want to see this last longer or even last for the long haul, because I get for a lot of you, this is the person you've been waiting for, you have to acknowledge why your relationships didn't work in the past, where they were really unbalanced, where they were unstable, where they were toxic, and really learn from those mistakes so you don't repeat the same cycle. Okay? Come into this new relationship, this new connection with a fresh mindset, with a fresh attitude. Don't bring any emotional baggage from previous relationships. So, if you were the one who was more dependent upon your partner to help keep you emotionally healthy or mentally healthy or spiritually healthy, instead of delving into your own personal strength, this is the time to tap into the beauty of yourself. Tap into a romance with yourself. Realize how incredible you are. Realize how beautiful you are, how deserving of love you are. Take yourself out. Well, I guess we're in isolation, but treat yourself. If you want a bath, go have a bath. Put some candles, put some essential oils, in there. Run a diffuser. Burn some incense. Read a book in the bath. Play some music. Take time to do the hobbies you love. Indulge in some foods and some sweets that you love. Do things that really just make you feel passionate. Do the things for yourself that you would do for a partner, okay? And you would be shocked how quickly you'll start to realize how incredible you are, how your eyes will open. And that's how you start to develop a romance with yourself, is by essentially wooing yourself or, courting yourself. It's really, yeah, it's just so important. When it comes to trying to build a connection with somebody else, is building self-love with yourself. And if you were not the codependent one, if your partners were the ones who were dependent upon you, it's important to keep an eye out for other people that you might have that same dynamic with. And in most cases, it's better off to either one, not engage in a romantic connection with them and move forward without them, or two, make it very clear that you won't accept that kind of behavior unless they're going to give as much to you as you give to them. Like I said, it's not 50-50 in a relationship. It's not 30, 70. It's not 40-60. It is 100% in order to make a relationship work for the long term. All right, Gemini, I'm going to get a couple cards to close your reading out. Just a little bit of advice from the Submerged deck. I have wisdom isn't about being perfect. It's instinct telling you to do the right things. Toxic people and situations will never be for your highest good. Yes. What else can I say, Gemini? I pretty much already talked that to death. That's, you got to let go of those toxic situations, those toxic people, the toxic environments in order to find your highest happiness, highest fulfillment. And I see you doing that in the month of May anyway. You know what? This wisdom isn't about being perfect. It's instinct telling you to do the right things. It just kind of goes along with, remember how at the beginning of this whole message I mentioned approaching this new relationship with caution, that there's things that you don't know under the surface, so don't jump in with 2 feet. And also about this codependency and that kind of stuff. This is basically saying, be kind to yourself and realize that you're learning like everybody else. As an air sign, you're very much, in your brain. That's where you dwell most of the time. And that can cause a lot of overthinking, overanalyzing. And when you feel like you did something wrong, you guys tend to be very, very hard on yourself, because you just basically, nobody beats you up worse than yourself mentally. Okay? So this is just saying be very kind to yourself. You're going to have some missteps along the way. There's going to be some mistakes made. You know, in this month, I'm seeing that with that card coming out, that you might have some moments in this new connection, new relationship, new whatever, where you feel triggered a few times, okay? That could very well happen. Realize that it's okay for that to happen. It's okay to express those emotions. And even if you express your emotions in a way that you later regret, you can come back and you can apologize. You can try to make it better. But that being said, you know, if, how do I put this? At the same time, you can't condone certain behaviors. So just really be mindful, okay? Do what your gut tells you. All right. I don't know if that made sense. It was kind of a confusing message. Oh, goodness, Gemini. I'm a Gemini myself, and I got a little tongue tied in this reading. So, even with all of this communication, you know, we might have some throat chakra issues in the month of May, and that might be why I kind of felt this foot and mouth type thing going on. So I guess just maybe try to think before you speak, Gemini, and I know that's easier said than done. All right, Gemini, that's what I have for you for the month of May. Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below and let me know if this resonates with you guys. I love you so much. Take care.